we will talk, and I think we had already nice comments on that about the online platform landscape and the e-commerce landscape in Southeast Asia, connected with a more specific customer experience. So, my name is Carsten Ley. I'm from Asia P&O. We are an experience management, agile and project and OKR consulting firm based in Singapore and in Vietnam. And here are some of our clients we had before. I'm also an ex-VP customer experience and customer service, Lazada Vietnam, and one of the global CX thought leaders of Survey Sensor on customer experience. And on the right side, you see some of the products we do. Okay, enough advertisement. Let's jump directly into the topic. So, as we all said, Southeast Asia is rising and booming. Yeah, I mean, we have mainly 6 countries here who have a very good outlook for 2025 on e-commerce, and also a young population, increasing spending power. Now, if we look on who is dominating that, we only have 2 big e-commerce chains in all 6 markets, which is Shopee and Lazada. And Shopee was overtaking Lazada the last 2-3 years in terms on website visit, in terms of purchases and so on. So Shopee is at the moment #1 in most of the country. And then we have overall Lazada, but we have very strong local players in each country, which you have to take into account if you want to make e-commerce or if you want to sell something in Southeast Asia. And also the local players sometimes have a higher trust. And of course, they have everything in local languages and better set up for a local audience. So 2 big players and a lot of local players per country. And then what is a little bit specific of Southeast Asia is that a lot of countries are lacking a center. I mean, we don't talk about Singapore, which is a center. They only have a center. But Vietnam has 2 strong centers, Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. And for example, Lazada is mainly strong in Ho Chi Minh City, but they haven't cracked Hanoi yet, and even Shopee, because it's very local. A lot of local players are better in Hanoi. Philippines is a little bit the same with Cebu and Manila region. Then we have Indonesia and Philippines with a very demanding island logistics. So it's okay to serve Cebu and Manila, but if you want to spread out, you have a lot of islands also when you want to go out of Java in Indonesia. So this is very challenging. So a lot of players focus on the tier 1 cities, but in really to win the market, you have to focus on big provincial town and rural areas. And just from a Vietnam perspective, actually the growth from cities to rural will change in the next 10 years. More and more people stay rural and in tier 2, tier 3 cities because they are growing. Yeah? And then on the demographic, of course, we want as e-commerce, we want the young families and millennials, because they have really the purchasing power, and there's a lot of them in the countries, but we have to groom the Gen Z and also the a little bit older customers to get them on board. And when you look at these 3-4 groups, you have different product preferences, of course, but you also have different payment and delivery and journey preferences. And we will come to that. Now, e-commerce in Southeast Asia looks great on the paper. I mean, amazing ads from Lazada and Shopee, but sometimes this is the reality. And these are photos and things I took directly sometimes, yeah. So it looks nice, but the reality, especially in rural areas, doesn't look so nice. And there are a lot of smaller 3PLs and the products don't come so well. So I would like, even you are not in Southeast Asia at the moment, I would like to ask you on the poll, your latest experience. These are the questions here, and future Internet Summit will start the poll now, please. so we have two questions here. How do you rate your latest e-commerce experience from 5 to 1? And which part of the journey is the most challenging for you? Okay, can we stop the poll, please? Can we start the poll, please? Sorry, I cannot see the poll. Can the speakers, can somebody from Future Internet Summit please comment? Can you start or share the poll?
Can we share the poll now?
Yes, please. That's what I said. Please share the poll.
Nishant would request you to please share the poll results.
Slide 8.
In fact, I'm showing the results.
But perhaps because of screen sharing, we cannot see it.
I stopped the screen sharing. Okay.
Nishant, can you try again?
If not, we carry on. Sorry for everybody for this hiccup.
I've done it, but still it's not. Can you see the result?
No, I cannot see the result. Okay, let's carry on. Sorry for that. But we have also statistic in the e-commerce, and you can comment on the chat. Thank you for that. Now, when we come to the customer behavior, and that's what exactly the question I tried to ask you. What is the customer behavior and the experience in Southeast Asia? Now, why does customer experience matter, and especially in e-commerce is matter? If you see in one of the rankings here, Amazon online retail was one of the highest ranked customer experiences in the US. So people love shopping. People love frictionless shopping and spontaneous shopping. So there's a very good chance to make customers happy as an e-commerce player. And the second thing is we have a lot of review system and where we want to encourage people to recommend from us. And we will see that the reviews are very important for people. Now, if we look at the e-commerce customer journey, we have normally 5 to 6 steps. The first 3 steps are online. So we surf a little bit around, discovery, product research, and then checkout and purchase. And the last 3 steps are perceived by the customer offline. Even we try to put tracking tools inside and more emails or whatever, but they are perceived in Southeast Asia offline. Maybe not in Singapore, but in the other countries. And what is also important to know, we have only 2 human touch points. The first human touch point is the delivery, and the second human touch point, if we need it, is customer service. So if a journey goes well, we only have 1 human touch point. And we found out in Vietnam, especially in mid-tier and rural area, that the human touch point make or breaks the image of e-commerce. Yeah, because e-commerce is competing here against shops. We have in Vietnam still 80% retail in mom and pop shops. So, and we see, when I was in Lazada, we tried to have every 3PL in a uniform, having a box on the bike, because this is very important. And the problem is Shopee and Lazada are tech companies, the same like Uber, Grab, and so on. And tech companies are normally very good in the first 3 steps. But they are, when I came into Lazada, I realized they are not very good in the last 3 steps. Because in the last 3 steps, you need delivery and product experience, not only tech experience. So this is the challenge here, that in Southeast Asia, we see that people focus more on how they rate e-commerce experience on the offline side. Now, what are the moments of truth? What is important for the customer? I mean, the product page is very important because you see the price, the estimated delivery time, if it's available, maybe the features. You can also see recommendations from other customers and so on. The next one is when you receive the package. I mean, receiving package for me is like Christmas all the time, so you get very excited. But if it looks like in one of the pictures I showed you before, you are not excited. And if sometimes the product doesn't work or you don't understand how the product works, because there is in Vietnam often a Chinese instruction inside and we don't speak Chinese, right? Then you get frustrated. Yeah. Another moment of truth, of course, is when you have to wait too long. And wait too long is a perception thing. Here in Ho Chi Minh City, if something takes more than 1 or 2 days, it's too long. It doesn't matter if you told me it takes 4 days, but others can do it in 1 or 2 days. So it's already too long, and I would call the CS as a consumer. The moment of truth for an e-commerce is normally the checkout, or one of the biggest moments of truth beside the landing page is, of course, the checkout. This should be very frictionless, where the consumer makes immediately the purchasing choice. Now, I said in Southeast Asia, we run against shops. So you should take shops also serious as competitor or any retail chains around the country. As an example, we have a big mobile phone retail chain in Vietnam, which at one point, they sold more e-commerce mobiles than Lazada, because people love the mix between e-commerce, omni-channel, and shop. And even if you bought e-commerce with this retail chain, you could go in the shop and fix it. And people love that. Yeah, so don't underestimate shops. And the second thing you should not underestimate is what we call social commerce. Social commerce is when people sell, or little shops sell things online through Facebook or local apps like Line in Thailand, Zalo in Vietnam, or other smaller e-commerce pages, yeah, like Carousel in Singapore. That's what we call social commerce. And if you just look at the blue and gray column, you see that in some countries, social commerce and e-commerce has the same worth, yeah, or it's the same sales total. And why social commerce is so important in Southeast Asia? I mean, some of them have shops. That means automatically you trust them. They have one little shop somewhere in Saigon, in Hanoi, and they sell online. They do P2P, point-to-point delivery. So they deliver from the shop to you. So you can get everything within 1 hour or 1.5 hours in the cities. I know some of the e-commerce also started with point-to-point delivery and not via warehouses or sorting centers. Of course, they have a much better return, replace, and refund policy, because you just call them after you get a product and they will come immediately, either give you the money back or bring you a new product. In e-commerce, it can take up to 5 to 10 days sometimes, especially for electronic product. Yeah, they can do product consulting. I mean, one thing we found out in Lazada Vietnam is that we got 30% of the call center calls were pre-purchase calls. That means people tried to call in and said, hey, I need more info about the product, which is impossible if I have 300 call center agents and 5 million products on the page. I cannot train them on the products. I can train them on policies, on processes and so on, but not on the products. So this is a big disadvantage, because some people really love product consulting. And sometimes what's on the page is not so conclusive. And of course, social commerce, because you rebuild a relationship with these little shops or with these owners, has a lot more trust than e-commerce from pages we don't know. So don't underestimate social commerce. And then I would like to show you one thing which we implemented in Lazada 4 or 5 years ago, is you have to think it through if you sell something. So this is now a very good season to sell air conditions. But a lot of people, when they bought an aircon on Lazada, it was laying around these big packages for 4 or 5 days because they had to look for somebody in their neighborhood or from another service for installation. So we offered with one of the 3PLs a one-stop solution for delivery and installation of the aircon. And I show you a quick video on that. Okay, so you see, it's not all about the ads you do and the app and the frictionless experience. People expect really a frictionless experience on or after delivery. So what are for us the main common e-commerce traps here? So I was challenging in Lazada if we should call us a tech company. For the consumer, we are a supermarket. I know talents don't want to work for a supermarket. But from a CX point of view, Lazada and Shopee are supermarkets, and sometimes even not really good ones. So get a little bit of tech thinking out if you want to be customer centric. If you have to control your CX partners. If you have, you have shops and partners who give you the product, you have 3PLs, you probably have outsourced service center. It should be a frictionless and an equal journey. Just because I have a different product doesn't mean I get a different delivery experience. So please streamline them. One size fit for all in all regions, as I said, doesn't work. We have rural, we have different cultures in the regions, we have very big countries here. You have to get enough feedback. Yeah? That's also something we see on the offline part of the journey, that there is sometimes not enough feedback. And you should really also focus on the shop competition, mom and pops, shopping center, and retail chain. Not only focus on to beat Lazada or Shopee. And don't underestimate, as we just said, the social commerce part and its advantages we just highlighted. Okay. Good, that's from us. Already got a sign that we have to wrap up.